So if you think about it, all sales really is showing someone out there how you can help them solve whatever problem or need it is that they have. And that should not feel icky, slimy, sleazy, or gross. So by the end of this video, you are going to be able to walk away with 3 hacks that we implement in the sales process of our one-on-one client experience using a tool in my business called HoneyBook. So considering I run pretty much my entire creative small business with a computer and when I'm traveling, a phone, closing the sale with a potential client with a go-to client management app isn't just a luxury. It is a lifeblood for my copywriting business. And when I had the calligraphy side of my business, same kit and caboodle. There's a tool in particular that I cannot live without. It's truly changed my life in helping me be a better entrepreneur and business owner. In fact, this year we're coming down to around $194,000 to date in payments brought in. So I'm going to tell you all about it in this video so you can use it to get more organized and confident as you sell to your clients. So if you are ready to feel less blah about sales, then hit that like button below. And if you are just tuning in, hey there, my name is Ashlyn. I am here to help you work from a place of more rest and less hustle with copywriting tips for your creative small business. So if you're new or if you just haven't yet, hit that subscribe button below and the bell next to it so you can know when these drop every Tuesday. And with that said, let's dig into these 3 sales hacks. Hack number 1, get really dang good at what you do. So I'm around creatives all the time, and maybe it's just me, but I don't think it is. Do you ever feel like we are told to focus our attention so much more on marketing that we kind of tend to neglect the whole craft, the bread and the butter of our creative small businesses? Because even if your fingers are not covered in paint and charcoal at the end of the day, you still have a creative process that you're putting to work for your one-on-one clients and your customers. You need to honor that and to study that. Comment below with a heck yes if you have either felt like that before or you just also want to spend more time on the actual craft and the study of what you do. Because here's a truth bomb, the more money that you make in your business, the more problems you are then going to have unless you spend time solving and figuring out the fundamentals. Like I referenced in a video the other week, biggie baby. And 2 fundamentals of business that are not going away are selling and the actual craft of what you do. So obviously this means spending more time on your craft. And that means you need to spend less time in the weeds and the processes of your business, specifically for your one-on-one experience, that onboarding experience, the project itself, and then offboarding. And that is why letting automated systems and workflows do the selling for you so you can then go off and perfect your craft is such a powerful and maybe not so obvious sales tool. The client relationship management tool that I've used in my business for years, coming up on 4 now, is HoneyBook. So what I want to do now is go to the computer and show you that first step of the inquiry or sales process. Now, no matter what tool you use in your business as your CRM, I think these tips I have for you today are going to help no matter what, but this HoneyBook is truly the tool I live and die by in my business. I've seen it work for so many different niches in the creative industry, but like I tell my students all the time, as with so many things in business, the tool that works is going to be the tool that you actually use, and the way to figure that out isn't just dipping your toes in, but actually jumping in and getting your proverbial hair wet, so to speak. When I was a little kid at the pool, we knew we had a good day. When mom got her hair wet, that's how I want you to be. We are inside my HoneyBook. This is the dashboard, that the first screen that I see when I pop in. So all of the major tools that I have will be accessible from this screen. I can also hop and grab them up here. But again, like I said earlier, you want to make this work for you. So you'll see that the calendar I don't really use. I don't put too many of our things on there because we have a different system for that. But other of these are so helpful. What I want to go to next though, because I really would like you to see this, is the projects pipeline. So here I can see our overall sales funnel from when we first get an inquiry to where we follow up with them, if they are given access to our calendar to hop on a call, so on and so forth, all the way through. And what I want you to see here are a couple of these that I have added. So one thing that has been helpful, we use HoneyBook, but if I am the client for someone, I have also added this section. And so if you clicked here, you would see the people, my bookkeeping company, for example, my creative attorney, any photographers I'm working with. A lot of times we're the client, so I include that tab there. But then there's also stages that we want to track separately. So let me show you how you can go in and customize your own pipeline. There are a few things that will automatically be in here with HoneyBook, but I can just click, let's say I wanted to add a stage right here. So I'm going to click add stage and we'll say offboarding definitely love the emojis, so sometimes I include those, but let's just do that. I'll drag it up here, drop it, and I'll click save and exit, and you can now see that that is a new portion of our pipeline, and so I can add people along in there. So one way that you can move people throughout the stage is right here. You can also do that within the workspace itself. But that's what I really wanted to show you here. And that brings me to the contact form or the application form, however you want to look at it. It's what I was most excited about showing you here in Hack 1. Do not underestimate the value of a good application or contact form to help you in your sales process. Because a lot of what you can do here is step in as the leader and help to go ahead and guide the client or customer experience kind of before it's even officially started. Now, I say this in so many of my videos, but this is where the true beauty of using a contact form or an application form comes into play. This is how you really get to know what people want. Before I get in and show you the questionnaire itself, what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about the process. This is something that my students ask me a lot about. So here I am on the contact form page of my website. So this contact form drives directly to our inbox, because what we want to do here is we tend to gate our process a little bit. That's the word I use, but we only want to send what we call our application to the people that we really think are going to be a fit for us. I want you to do, I tell people all the time, put your ear to the ground and see what's working in your business or what you need to do. And that is how to construct your sales funnel. So you may be at a point where right now, this needs to be the first point of communication and you get them in and so on and so forth. But we tend to get so many requests for lots of different things that it wouldn't make sense here for this to go directly into HoneyBook. We want our services inquiries to go through one extra step. So after people send in this, if they're interested in working with us and probably a good fit, they're shuffled off to this page. And this is what I wanted to show you, because this whole application form right here that you can see is built in HoneyBook. And let me show you inside HoneyBook where you can do that. So here I am back where I showed you that pipeline, and I'm going to click up to tools. I'm going to come over to templates, and over here is where we have so many templates. Now I have done a video and talked through all the email templates that we have in my business. I just could not get by without them. Could not get by. But what I really wanted to show you here is the contact form. So HoneyBook recently updated this, and I think it's a lot more user-friendly. You can also update things like the design to have your own brand colors, as well as the text that is a little bit more on brand for you, which I definitely like. So let's come over here, and what I wanted you to see is how to build this. So you can move questions around, you can add them throughout. There's lots of different types of questions that you can add, but this is another thing to pay attention to. There is some great software out there that can help you understand how far along in a form people get to. Let me know if you're interested in that below in the comments, and I'll ping you on what that would be, but you can see how far along with some softwares people get before they abandon a form. So I would recommend definitely don't make it too long, but at the same time, we want people to work with us that spend a little time on our form, and we definitely see that they are a good fit to work with us because it's a hefty investment. So this is what our form looks like. This is a great place, this application, for us to understand about what people's motives are, what they want to hear from us. It is a wonderful place to get that. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. It's like a built-in survey tool that you may be already using, you just didn't know it yet. It's going to help you understand what your clients want from you, what's motivating them to buy. It helps you understand what they're doing or thinking as they shop around and try to solve this problem, and so much more. It's a goldmine. One more pro tip about using this information I'm going to tell you later in the video. But before we dig into these other two hacks, there are two things you need to do quickly to get set up in HoneyBook. I want you to send more elevated communications with both your email signature and loading in some templates. Email signature in HoneyBook is pretty easy. We're going to come over here to templates. I'm going to click email signature. Now here you can only have one per your workspace. So if I were in my in Sarah's workspace on my team, I would be able to update her. So we are updating mine right now. The images are pretty easy to sub in and out. So let's go to my library. I should have my logo in here. Click save. Boom, there we are. I'll add in the copy that's already typed in. I was playing around with this. Backspace that. We're just going to keep it like this, nice and easy, and it will save it automatically. So where this actually comes up, I pulled up a very old client workspace for you to see. So hi, message here, just like pretending, and then all I'm going to do is click this button right here, and it adds it every single time. So I usually say like thanks, oops, boom, like that, and that will automatically update. So again, carving out and spending so much time making sure that what you are doing is the most value-packed, the first in class, the best in the industry can really help with your sales process. Sometimes we've said before internally with my team that if we are going to charge BMW prices on some things, then boy, we need to be giving a BMW level experience. We're not perfect, we're constantly working on it and trying to get it better, but just keeping that in mind has been really helpful. Truthfully, and maybe tell me in the comments below if you're like this too, but having a process and a craft that I can stand on and be really proud of and know that I'm good at, that helps me in the sales process maybe more than anything. Knowing that I'm giving or able to provide a first-rate product helps me never really feel pushy when it comes to the sales process. And now that you have that inquiry process buttoned up, let's move on to what happens next. Hack number 2, get really dang good at explaining what you do. They may follow your work, they may even double tap your work, but they're not gonna buy from you unless you're able to explain why they need to. And I know this is the kind of stuff that I talk about all the time. If you missed my video all about crafting your elevator pitch, then look for it up here and down below, but watch it after this video. You can also look down below to grab my free guide to explaining what you do and crafting that pitch. But one way I like to continue to reinforce what I do and how I can help serve clients is through the autoresponder that they get after they fill out that form we talked about in hack 1. And this was something that, we completely neglected to do for a long time in my business, so learn from my mistake and make sure that you have one of these. Here's how to do that in HoneyBook. Features. So what we're going to do is we're back in the tools section under templates. I'm going to come to email. Gosh, there's so many. And what I want to do is specifically show you this one right here. So you can see inside the drawer all of the templates that we have loaded in. But what I really want you to look at is this. So and feel free to look at it as an example, but this is the autoresponder copy. So as soon as someone fills out that application form that we just looked at, we want to go ahead and start reinforcing our brand voice, what we're about. We want to say their name. We also want to provide them with a couple of tips and tricks that they can use. So we point them over to the YouTube channel and the blog as well, and let them know when and who they'll hear from next. So there we go. That's something that I would definitely recommend implementing. Part of the process that they're going to do after they get this, if we are going to go ahead and send them over some information, we think they'd be a good fit for us, what we want to do is then come in and send them the brochure. Now let me show you, let me pop out and show you what the brochure template looks like. This is fairly new inside HoneyBook and I've played around with it a little bit, but one thing that we have liked to do is go ahead and send a PDF guide of what we do. So this is, let's see, let's go over and look at this calligraphy brochure. So I want you to see how you can load these things in and get them some information. Now what I have found, again, I've played around with this in HoneyBook. I really think even with this, the best thing that we could do is send them a PDF magazine. So that's what we continue to do. Now I did pull this out. This is an old version. Like I said, we've been doing this a long time, but I wanted you to see, let me close this so you can see a little bit bigger. It is a pricing guide magazine, so clients can get a little bit of a gist of what we do and then see some of the work that I used to do for clients, the amounts you can really see. But we also wanted to give them some ideas. So I mentioned earlier how you're going to look and you're going to study some of the things that you are learning throughout that inquiry process. And this is where I'm baking in. So one thing, people never understood what size is what, and they couldn't get an idea of it. So doing something like this could be helpful if that is something that you find with your potential clients. Again, remember, this is old, but answering questions like this is something we still do, even though the services have changed in my business and we just do copywriting now. So let me show you where we do include that. What I'm going to do is come back over to templates, and what we do is have these brochures. So they get, after they get this email and they are approved to go through, then they get this first email. We have different versions, especially when I'm on maternity leave, that we can come back and use, but they would get a link to the document like this where they can work through and understand a little bit more. They also get a link to hop on our calendar at that point, and let me tell you about that in just a moment. So I told you back in secret number 1, getting really dang good at your actual craft, that I was going to give you one more follow-up tip on that, and here it is. All of that information in the borderline survey that your contact form or your application form is, all of that can come back out in this part of the process. Maybe it's by including a frequently asked questions section inside that document that you're sending along next, the magazine. It's just like I tell my students inside Copywriting for Creatives that are worried that they're being too repetitive on their website, from their homepage to their about page to their services page. There are some messages that need to be repeated. And this magazine is a place where you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to reinforce the messages that you're already working to coach throughout your sales experience. Next, you want to treat people like human beings, and 99% of your competition at least I think based on my extremely mathematical equations, freak out about this part of the process, the sales call. But you've got to learn to love it because it is so important for you and your business. So if you don't believe so passionately in what you do and are confidently able to articulate it, who's going to be able to do that for you? I could totally do a video about the sales call experience themselves. Comment below if you would like to see that. But here is at least how we get that process started and teed up inside HoneyBook. Part of the process after they get that brochure email and they are interested, we think they'd be a fit and are given access to the calendar. What they are given access to is technically a link inside of a platform called Acuity. So this is the homepage for that. I am not a big fan of all that back and forth emailing to find a call time, and I just have a rule that I don't do in-person consults or kickoff calls. I just manually move them along through Acuity, which I love. So here we are in Acuity itself, and what I wanted to show you are the different appointment types that you can create. We have Mac Daddied this out. So we have, because we do work with some people in Australia, so I need to have different slots on my calendar for that, so on and so forth. You can get a sense of some of the things that we have booked using Acuity through these if you would like to pause. But what I'm going to do is come back over to HoneyBook and see how you can hyperlink things. So all we do is hyperlink people to that calendar and they can pop in and schedule that sales call. One killer tip that I heard from another copywriter, Joel Clutke, is to always hop on that sales call with the tip. You want to give them a little bit of a moment of, wow, that's what she did for free. What could she do with a full budget? I think this works because it comes back to the tool of reciprocity and being able to use that during a sales or a marketing experience. But before you hop on that call, make sure that you've either thought of something about their brand that they've never thought of, or explored their website and are able to bring something to the table. Or maybe you're a wedding photographer and you want to mention that, hey, I've shot that venue before. One tip, make sure that you go to X location at the venue right about the time of 5 o'clock when golden hour starts, and that is where you're going to get the best sunset picture, I promise you. Another way that we've done that in my business is giving clients a free guide or a download. I just look at it as a champagne toast, a thank you to them. This last sales tip I have for you is on the other side of the process, and it's hack number 3. Ask for referrals and testimonials. So I mentioned it in an SEO video I did a couple of weeks ago, but word of mouth is still the hands down #1 way that we get business in my business. So if you don't have this process baked into your client workflow, now is the time to do that. Because grassroots marketing still matters. It desperately matters. Because selling is all about relationships. And nothing can sell like a client or a customer that had a great experience and wants to tell somebody else about it. Don't underestimate the value in asking your clients after the experience you've given them if they have someone maybe a little bit like them that they would be happy to send along to you. If you've given them a good experience, they're probably going to be more than happy to do so and maybe a little flattered. Screen before at this point. By the way, if you're interested in some of these templates and would like to just purchase them, I do sell them in my shop, but I don't want to click and open some of them just out of respect to our customers who have purchased those. But at this point, you do want to have an email thrown in your system that is about offboarding. So let's see, this is a package, goodbye packet. That would be one. This is another goodbye packet. So in that email, they are going to get a link to fill out a testimonial form. So that is going to be under the questionnaire, so you can create a separate questionnaire for that. Here is an example of how you could use a questionnaire back when I used to service calligraphy clients. But what I wanted to show you is how you can use it for a testimonial. So I'm not going to click open this because some people have purchased these templates, and again, out of respect to them, but that's where you could include that kind of information, and you can just have it as part of your process. So you would have all of that information collected. It's part of the workflow. You don't have to do anything except click a button each and every time, and there you go. Firmly believe that marketing your creative business sustainably is so important to the livelihood of what you do as a creative, a small business owner, or a maker. So one more bonus tip, figure out how to track your leads in your CRM so you can go back maybe every quarter and look at that and do more of whatever it was that was bringing in those sales leads. Here's how we track leads using HoneyBook. Of a HoneyBook hack that I didn't know about for a while, so I hope it helps you as well. You know how over here we looked at this screen earlier, and you can tell your lead client source. So that is the sales mechanism that's bringing in the most people, and I want to continue to do more of that. Easy as that, right? So I'm going to come over here and click Company Settings, and I can start to track this by 2 little steps. So first, I'm going to click on Preferences. Under Lead Sources, this is where I want to edit this. I have found it most helpful to give as many different things as I want. We have seen some of these blow up. We have seen some not so much. Some names in here we added because we heard them constantly. So again, I just want to track that, be able to thank people, absolutely, but also be aware of what is bringing in the most leads for us. So what I'm going to do after that is close it, but I want to show you where that comes up. So specifically, remember that application form that we were talking about, contact form, whatever you want to call it. Even if you had a very short contact form, you can include this, but once they click this drop down there, it populates with all of those we just looked at, and we can have them click. So then when you go back into HoneyBook, you can look at all sorts of graphs and watch these ebb and flow, and it is fascinating. If after all this you're interested in giving HoneyBook a try, you can look down below for an extended trial as well as half off of a membership. And if you need a little more help with tip number 2 that I gave all about explaining what you do, don't worry, look down below, get that freebie guide I have for you, and download it. Now that you know some sales tips using HoneyBook for that one-on-one experience, what do you do after the sales call? Will you send the perfect proposal? That's what. Be sure to watch this next video teed up for you so you can learn all about that, and thanks again for watching.